Hey, welcome back. It's a Wicked Wednesday show indeed. And you know you're watching Liquid Lunch on Newsmax TV. I'm John Tobacco. Yes, they're still letting me host the show. Yes, we're still on Broadway. And we're at the Question Tequila Studios, well fortified. And kicking off hour two is Blockbuster Duo. They're a dynamic duo indeed. It's Johnny Burnett, managing director of One Empire Group, and Republican candidate for New York City Controller at one point. David Eisenbach, our very own presidential historian, professor at Columbia University, and one of my favorite teams indeed. Every Wednesday, I understand you guys are joining us now. Yeah. We may have to break you up soon. You know, you're getting too good together. But you know what's happening. We talked about it last week, but the continuing saga. Here's what Kellyanne Conway said about the whole quid pro quo. Picked through the bones and found whatever they thought was meaty and salacious, leaked all that stuff out to set the stage to now bring this kabuki theater show trial out in front of everyone, Johnny. It's getting ugly about a minute.
I think their entire strategy is about to be filleted, right? I think this is backfiring in a big way. I think that when the dust settles, I think people will be just as disappointed as they were with the Russian collusion hoax, and I think it'll just continue to bolster President Trump's and the RNC's coffers with continuous steady flow of donations. That people that are sick and tired of the dysfunction in government.
Did you? I know everyone, the media, has said it 1,000 times. Quid pro quo. Quid pro quo. I don't hear it. They released the transcript. I don't hear it.
Well, what we are hearing, and of course this will be now made public, is what was brought out behind the scenes, where all of these National Security Council officials, former ambassadors, who testified to the quid pro quo,
and Democrats,
and Democrats, but they were experts on Ukraine and lifelong Vietnam veterans, U.S. military personnel, State Department personnel. What the big question will be, do they perform as well as they seem to have done behind closed doors now in front of the cameras?
That's right.
Do they even come back in front of the cameras? And will Trump's legal counsel, who now will be present, will they have a crack at these, and will they undermine?
I think the key word there is perform, right? They shouldn't be acting.
Well, let's take a look at here's Kellyanne Conway's performance talking about the quid pro quo.
Quid pro quo is proven in that statement. I actually thought the transcript releases and even what he thought he was supplementing there proved nothing yesterday. And here's why. I looked at page 106 of the Sunland transcript, and he very clearly says that he engaged in no small talk with President Trump, and he clearly asked him, what do you want from Ukraine? And President Trump said, I want them to do what they ran on, which is anti-corruption.
That doesn't sound, they keep extending it all the way out to he asked for help in his election. No, he didn't. He asked for help looking into 2016.
Absolutely.
And he has every right to ask about that.
Absolutely. You know, look, everyone is saying that President Trump, well, everyone on the left is saying that President Trump did not do enough in 2016, right? Well, you know what? President Obama didn't do anything at all, right? So now President Trump is saying, look, we don't want a repeat of 2016. Let's go back to the source and make sure that we actually develop partnerships to ensure that no tampering happens in 2020. Well, this is what you should do. What tools do you have? You have sanctions.
That's right.
And you also have aid.
Yep, sanctions and aid.
Right. Well, but it gets into a gray area when you're asking a foreign government to investigate one of your opponents, Joe Biden, and you were going to use that material, obviously.
Investigate all those individuals that were surrounding.
In the former administration,
the infestation of corruption.
I'm saying it's a gray area, and legally speaking, really, we're not even talking about law. We're talking about politics. Is it going to be enough to get 2/3 of the Senate to vote to impeach the president of the United States?
It's ridiculous. Everyone knows it's ridiculous.
Probably not.
But John, look, I'm not a lawyer, right? Yeah. I might look like one, but I'm not a lawyer.
Yeah,
right?
You do look like one. I would hire you.
No, I'm a businessman. But here's the thing. In law should be based upon facts. and a fact pattern.
But it's not about the law.
There are no facts here
So this isn't
of a quid pro quo.
It's not about the law.
This is not a legal
opinion.
proceeding.
It's not a legal
This is
proceeding.
opinion.
It's politics, pure and simple.
Right.
And it doesn't look like there are any Republicans. Well, no Republicans broke on the impeachment vote in the House. It doesn't look like many are going to vote.
Given that it's politics, right?
Yeah.
It's an opinion.
That's right. And we're going to see.
facts.
We're going to see.
Let's talk
finally,
about,
now that we have the televised hearings, we'll see how the politics breaks.
Hopefully. Let's talk about a real legal proceeding. Roger Stone, trial starts, jury selection starts. He's really the only person left that got caught up in this whole Mueller probe, and they're saying that, you know, basically it was an administrative filing that he didn't do, and this guy's facing like major jail time.
This is ridiculous. Paperwork. So we're talking about paperwork and opinions here. Look, the Democratic strategy, again, will backfire. What they're trying to do is continue to punt the secret hearings, prolong the Roger Stone trial, to do whatever possible so that way they can have these two things in a news cycle throughout the primary season leading up to the national conventions for both parties.
What bothers me is that liberals who are so hell-bent on taking down Donald Trump and anybody who is associated with him are now cheering on the powers of government to go after political activity. And that is something that we really should have a firewall and a general agreement as Americans. This prosecution should not be going on.
And the average Joe understands this, right? You know, my father used to always say, you know, son, if you dig a grave for someone, dig two. Why? Because the first one is going to be for you.
That's right. And the Democrats really should get wise to that. I think we got a ring for that, Joe.
You want to ring the bell?
Yep,
We all agreed on that one? All right. One Republican that I'm sure will line up with the Democrats in the Senate is Mitt Romney.
Oh.
Okay, this guy thinks it's his job to continue to dig into Donald Trump any chance he gets. And Donald Trump Jr. took a shot at Mitt Romney recently. He said he was, I want you to see it. You check this out. Here's what Donald Trump said about Mitt Romney.
Who was your favorite Democrat? Go ahead.
Ooh.
Okay. All right, Mayor Trump, we're going to let you go. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
All right.
It is now 8:14. The name of the book is Triggered, wherever you like to buy your books.
Mitt Romney, Gail. Mitt Romney's my favorite Democrat. How about that?
It's time to check it.
He called out Mitt Romney as his favorite Democrat. And
That's pretty good.
Before you guys go, my two esteemed friends here, Johnny Burnett ran for New York City Comptroller. David ran for New York City Public Advocate, and it was election day around the country. But yesterday here we had quite a new development that Frank had a big part in, and that's getting ranked choice voting on the ballot. I want to just get you guys' take on getting ranked choice. I think it's good for minority candidates and voter choice.
I think it is good, and it actually will force voters to look beyond just their choice, because then they have to start thinking about, you know, who's the second, who's the third choice. So it'll get more political dialogue, that's for sure.
Absolutely. And it'll be actually good for competitive races, right? So people, like to your point, will not only think about just party and just individual, but really start thinking about platform, and also force people that might be all the way to the left and all the way to the far right, to actually start talking to the middle. Why? Because everyone matters.
Yeah. Right. You gotta pick 4 candidates now. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess some people just random it, but it actually brings other people into the opportunity.
That's
zone.
right.
Competition is good.
If they had ranked choice voting in 2009, I may not have come in 5th place in a 7-person race. I may have come in 3rd. Who knows? And I can tell you this: if there were more choices like these guys, we'd have some good people in government. Guys, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thanks, John.
David Eisenbach, right here, mixing it up for you every single day. Coming back at you with more liquid lunch. Fix up a cold one. We'll be back right after this.